Sorry about that. He hasn't had breakfast yet.
Butterfree, go!
Yo, whoa, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. I bring you guys a brand new video today, and today we are jumping into the Pokemon news and rumor mill once again, man. I've got some Diamond and Pearl Remake rumors. I've got some 2021 Pokemon 25 rumors and some Pokemon news as well. So if you guys like this kind of stuff, man, hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I post Pokemon videos every single day, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's do it. Before I jump into the video, I want to thank my friends at Manji for sponsoring today, and I'm going to show you guys the amazing Manji Command Shell. Without further ado, let's do a drop test. Here it goes. It's totally good. This Manji case handled that drop test like absolutely no problem, and I'll tell you some quick features about it. Magnet lock and kickstand, easy to use, gives you the perfect viewing angle. Detachable Joy-Con shells that are comfortable and easy to use. A 90-degree charging table to charge in tabletop mode. Be sure to pick up your Manji Command Case before this holiday season and protect your Switch right now. I'll have links in the description for you guys to check them out, and if you want to get real fancy, you can actually get the entire Manji Command Case available now. It's got a place to store your chargers, your games, and everything in between. You can keep your Nintendo Switch safe and secure. Thank you to my friends at Manji for sponsoring today. Definitely be sure to pick yourself up a Manji case, no doubt about it. But let's talk about some Pokemon news here. So the first things first, if you're in North America, which I know a lot of you guys are, the Zarude distribution is officially out, right? So if you set up for the email about a month ago, you should have gotten an email code for Zarude. If you didn't, I would reach out to Pokemon like their help team or whatever and just let them know that you didn't get your code, but they did start to roll out codes. Don't get too worried. I would give it till like Monday, but I know a lot of people already get their codes, so you can get your Zarude through mystery gift redeemable right now. The next thing I wanted to mention I thought was really cool, and this is my buddy Dobbs. You guys may know Dobbs, another Pokemon content creator. He posted this on Twitter like a week ago, and I thought it was really worth actually mentioning in this video. And it shows that in Pokemon Yellow, there's a few different cool interactions with Pikachu, and one of them is that if you teach Pikachu Thunderbolt or Thunder in a cave, it actually lights up the entire cave as if it had flash. It's such a small little thing, but it's really cool to think back that this is something that we really didn't even know, and here we are however many years later, right? Like 20 years later, and people are finding out really cool things about Pokemon games. This kind of reminds me of when we found out that you can get that shiny Tentacool through the Surf Lock in, I believe, Heart Gold Soul Silver. There's some really cool Easter eggs, and I wonder what other future things we're gonna find in games like Pokemon Sword and Shield and beyond as time progresses. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just never know what people are gonna find down the road. I mean, again, Pokemon Yellow is what, 20 years old, and we're finding about this now? That's really cool in my opinion. The next bit of information is actually pretty big, and this is from Dexerto. Dexerto is an online website, but a few different people covered this. This talks about, is Pokemon getting a new game in 2021? And listen, the reality of it is, there's a very good chance that Pokemon is gonna get a new game next year. In fact, I would be willing to bet quite a bit that it is. But this is saying that in December, eagle-eyed fans spotted new listings from the Pokemon Company. Short-term contracts that are for 12 months, specifically for localization for Japanese to English. A game's translation is usually a sign that development is wrapping up, so whatever the project is must be far along. While the type of job listing is very common, it's led some people to believe that it's a new game, simply by the logic that a remake or remaster of an older title would already have been mostly localized. The Japanese company has also posted a listing for localization of marketing materials. That is a very interesting concept. This is big, dude. This is big. So for those who kind of missed out or just tuned out of what I just said, Pokemon is officially hiring for 12-month contracts for localization. What localization is when the company basically says, hey, we have this game, it's in language X, Japanese in this case, and we need it to be translated into Spanish and Portuguese and French and Italian and all these different languages, so we need to hire people from those regions, or, you know, translators, essentially localization teams, to translate the dialect to fit the local language. Not just a one-for-one translation, but to ensure that the message doesn't get lost in translation, right? This is a very this happens every year. This is for new games. This is a very important piece of the process. But this is an interesting angle, an interesting concept that I really haven't dove deep into, is the fact that, listen, this is saying that, hey, if they were gonna really do Diamond and Pearl remakes, wouldn't a lot of the localization already be done since they already did Diamond and Pearl games? I would have to dig back to the Pokemon Omega Ruby times and see if they hired out the same kind of translators or the same kind of localization teams. I would assume there would be some stuff being done, but a 12-month contract, that seems a little bit robust for me. I would think that it would be a much shorter contract. But who knows, man? I mean, there's a lot of potential that they could drop more than one game next year, right? We know about Pokemon Unite, we know about Pokemon Snap, new Pokemon Snap, and then we're assuming Diamond and Pearl Remakes or something else. But this next rumor that we're gonna take a look at actually details more than just a Diamond and Pearl Remake, which is why it's so fitting for this video. Now, before I move forward into this rumor, I do want to specify that this is indeed a rumor, which means we take it with a grain of salt. It may be real, it may not be real. We've seen things slip through the cracks, and we found out that there was a ton of information that leaked for Pokemon Sword and Shield before it came out. But again, this could just be some guy on the internet who has too much free time. So let's take a look at it. But it presents some pretty interesting questions and some pretty interesting theories that I really kind of wrote off myself. So let's look, and I'll paraphrase a little bit here. It says the future of Pokemon 2021. Hello there, I'm making this post from a fresh account simply to dip and dash with this information. I don't work at Game Freak, however, a friend of mine has been slowly sending me tidbits. I can confirm some of the leaks on here are indeed spreading correct information, but some of it is just, you know, kind of speculation. So we'll paraphrase because there's a lot of text here. So it says the final 2020 presentation. It says the first set of info is actually coming close to Christmas and Boxing Day, which is in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, in a pre-recorded presentation by Ishihara. It says that it's announced a day or two prior, serving as a gift to the community in preparation for the 25th anniversary. So this is saying that before Christmas or around the Christmas holiday season this year, Pokemon is going to come out with a video and say, hey, this is a gift to all the Pokemon fans in the world. Next year is our 25-year anniversary. Here's a little teaser. And then it shows a small presentation of the process of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, the hype for Pokemon Day, and then at the end of the presentation, the camera moves to the side of Ishihara and shows plushies of Ho-Oh and Lugia. Now this goes back to Ishihara and I believe a presentation many, many months ago. About 5 months ago, there was a trailer of Ishihara that had him in front of a ton of Johto plushies, and a lot of people speculated that Let's Go Johto was coming, and then they ended up doing Pokemon Unite trailer instead. So who knows if that's gonna be a thing, but it is a very interesting concept. It also talks about Let's Go Gold and Silver are officially announced with small gameplay clips bearing extreme similarities to the previous Let's Go game. Unlike the previous games, they are more similar to Gold and Silver. You choose your Johto starter from the get-go instead of having one specific Pokemon as your partner. This sounds crazy, but the idea of a Let's Go Johto coming out in spring 2021, that could be massive. This then jumps to the 2021 main line. To cut to the chase, the gift of Pokemon Day and the 25th anniversary is that Diamond and Pearl remakes are coming. As for the official names, I don't have them. The 4th generation remake is indeed coming. Here's the main summary that we know so far. And again, I just want to preface this by saying this is a rumor. The graphics are the best the series has had so far, comparable to Sword and Shield. In a lot of locations, the camera's locked. However, in certain locations like Coronet and other towns and cities, the areas are heavily expanded and you can do the camera controls, free camera. There is no wild area. It simply isn't returning in any concept. However, Pokemon still roam in the overworld. The battles function similar to fights within Let's Go, as you'll need to lower the health of the Pokemon down to 0 before transitioning to the Let's Go catching sequence. This is apparently made to give more of a realistic feel to the series, as well as combine what made the mainline and Let's Go accessible to all players. So this part is one that I really have a hard time getting over, and when I look for red flags in these rumors, this is one that to me is a red flag, but who knows, right? It basically is saying that they're gonna have a hybrid catching style for these Sinnoh remakes, which if they came out with a Let's Go game and then I don't know, man, I feel like I don't want to catch Pokemon with the Let's Go style for every Pokemon. Like, if I have the option to turn it off and just throw Pokeballs, then I'd rather do that, personally. The only returning features in battle are the Mega Evolutions and Dynamax. Z-moves do not return in any capacity. Z-moves will never return to the mainline series, which I believe until they do Alola remakes, but anyway. Dynamax will only be accessible in the post-game, and it requires a connection to Sword and Shield, unlocking a new quest in which Cynthia serves as the main focus to unlocking it. Leon also makes a surprise appearance to battle the protagonist in the post-game. That's a lot of information there. Talk about Mega is coming back, Dynamaxing. We know the Dynamax energy is pretty localized to Galar, so there's just a lot of back and forth about Megas or Dynamax, man. I don't know. I want to believe that Megas are going to return, but I really just don't know. The only Mega Evolution that I'm aware of are the ones for each Sinnoh starter, Torterra, Infernape, and Empoleon. Most likely they'll have some more. The names I've heard rumored are Floatzel, Electivire, and Roserade. So this post isn't saying, hey, these are all the Megas. This is saying that there's going to be starter Megas, and there may be more, obviously. The second rival in Lucas and Dawn play a much more important role, and actually serve as a second rival compared to Barry. In an odd change my source noted, Barry actually takes the starter weak to yours, while Lucas and Dawn take the starter strong against yours. So this is saying that the whole kind of plot line of Barry being your rival, he takes the weaker starter now, and then Lucas or Dawn, depending on who you play as, will actually be your stronger rival, which would be pretty cool. Because in the regular games like Platinum, they kind of serve as like just an ally protagonist. They just kind of help you once in a while, but they're not really a rival, like truly, you know? Dribble battles make a return, however, they're mainly demonstrated with the specific sequence of Distortion World, where Lucas and Dawn and Barry run through a multitude of galactic runs to get to Cyrus. Interesting concept. Speaking of the Distortion World, the story is heavily changed, resembling both games, but bearing mostly to Platinum. In either version, you'll catch your game-exclusive Legend prior to the Distortion World, where Cyrus will take control of Giratina and battle you with a full team that includes Giratina. After this fight, Giratina flees, you can be caught in the post-game. Don't get your hopes up on too many regional forms or any forms in general. These are remakes for a reason. The game will be fully compatible with Sword and Shield. An update will be released for the later games during the release of those remakes, making all Pokemon crossover and transferable in the process. That is all. Take this as you wish. So we got a ton of information to digest here and some pretty crazy stuff, and I think the biggest things for me was the potential of a gold and silver remake. But again, we talked about that Dexerto article about the localization teams and how they have people working on these new games. And again, I'd be willing to bet hardcore that we are getting a new main series game next year. Are we getting one? Are we getting two? I have no idea. I have a hard time justifying how they're gonna fit in. Pokemon Unite, I think, kind of separately stands on its own, right? I think that comes out early next year. We know it's in beta right now. January, February, March, somewhere in there. Snap, I could see coming out in springtime, maybe. But how do you fit in if, let's say, if there was a gold and silver Let's Go and a Diamond Pearl? We know Diamond and Pearl would be, or whatever that big game is, would be November, right? We know that. That would be a very safe bet, October, November, somewhere in there. How do you fit in Snap and the other one? Maybe like March, April, and then June, July? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Snap would have to be summer. The Let's Go game would have to be June, July. Either way, I would lose my mind if that was the case. Heart Gold, Soul Silver just hit different, man. They just hit different. I'm excited talking about this, man. I'm gonna be real. We've got a long road ahead, it seems, until Pokemon 25th anniversary. So I hope you guys don't mind me just kind of theorizing, having some fun with these rumors. I'll bring you these news videos in kind of like bulk like this, and I hope you guys enjoy them. If you do, hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Fine, Snorlax, you can have my Reese's. Sure.
Snorlax.
Oh, you need everyone to watch another video? Well, there's a video right there, and there's another video right there. Make sure you guys subscribe for this guy.